Blessings, blessings. Good evening, good morning, good night, whatever
Good
part of the universe
evening.
you are. Welcome once again to Let's Get Talking. Don't ignore the red flags. And our topic today is part two of understanding autism, as we are aware that this is autism. This month, April, is Autism Awareness Month. So, welcome, lady and gentlemen. And I have with me Pastor Daniel George Sr. I have with me also Minister Daniel George Jr., Elisha George Jr. I have Mrs. Penny Beckles-George,
Hi.
and um, we are supposed to have another guest, Isaiah James Thomas. Probably he's having some internet issues, so God's willing, he will be on with us shortly. But nevertheless, we will move forward. And our focus scripture for this evening is Philippians 4:13. And that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, or through Christ who gives me strength. And that just says, it's self-explanatory, but I will have Pastor Daniel, do due diligence to the scripture as always. And, so it doesn't matter if once you're in Christ, it doesn't matter if you have autism or not. Um, you will be able to do all things. Once he will give you strength. So Pastor Daniel, go ahead, please.
Okay, well, really and truly, well, good afternoon, everyone, and it's good to be back on again to our listening audience, and um, and also welcome to Penny, my daughter. Um, the Apostle Paul was in in a situation in which he was imprisoned, and in other words, he was handicapped. He didn't have freedom of movements. He didn't have liberty to do what he wanted to do. And but he said in verse 12 that he had learned to adjust in life. And then in verse 13, he went on to say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Now, the fact that he did say that, and if you take it in the broadest of context, he was saying that setbacks in life should never deter us from accomplishing great things in a general sense. And in the context of people who are disabled or semi disabled or autistic, have limitations, some people, unfortunately, to some extent, have, and we say unfortunately because sometimes we get the impression, way that person dyslexic, that person, they're suffering from Down syndrome, and we don't see much hope for them. We don't expect them to get far in life. But the truth of the matter is, Christ could make the difference, and because he can give us the enablement, we must bear in mind that God is able to give us, as his creation, ability to accomplish things that we normally would not accomplish without his strength, without his enablement, and that is what Paul was saying in essence, And for those of you who are on the platform this afternoon who have this condition, you are autistic, we want you to know that there is hope, and your hope can be found in Christ Jesus, because he's the one who can enable you to accomplish anything anybody else have accomplished. For his word said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Amen. 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 And um, I don't know if Mr. Junior wants to say something before his beloved wife takes the floor this evening. Are you hearing me? Someone has on a radio or something. I'm hearing a radio or television or something.
There is a neighbor that is playing music on my end here. So I'm
Oh,
not sure if
okay.
it's that you're hearing.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay. So, Mr. George Jr., do you want to say anything? I don't know if he's hearing me. Okay, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay, he just said he's not picking up so good, so he wasn't
Okay.
hearing.
Okay, so I'll hand it over to you, our special guest speaker for this evening. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Penny Beckles-George. I am the wife of Daniel Elisha George. My father-in-law is Daniel George, and I'm so grateful to be here, Miss HAZEL-ANN. Thank you for having me this evening. So I'm gonna just talk a little bit about autism, right?
You're welcome.
Yes. So autism spectrum disorder is a broad range of condition, right? It is categorized by social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech or non-verbal communication, right? Autistic children have, sometimes a bit of difficulties, like if they're socializing because of loud noises or bright lights, you know. But other than that, they are normal, just like us. I mean, they could do things we can do, most things, right? I was so excited and happy to be able to work with one of the schools, Happy Venture Learning Center. I'm not sure if they're still around, but I was, given the opportunity to work there at some time, and they had autistic children, some Down syndrome, and they're just so loving. I mean, the children were very, very nice. I mean, the only thing, sometimes when the truck would pass, they can't take the noise. But really, really nice children, really, really lovely children. They are just like us, right? It's not to say, well, they are different in any way to say. I mean, they just have a little condition, but they are just like us, right? Sometimes you just have to get to know them. Once you get to know them, it's like a joy, right? It's nothing strange or anything new. But yes, um, while I was there, they had to assess me for the time
I
that I was
myself, um,
that
I myself worked with them.
great, great. So while I was there, I was assessed, and in order to be able to get my certificates and stuff. And they said that Penny is a very reliable and conscientious student, a great attraction to the children with disabilities. She was very sympathetic and kind to all the children. She was loved by staff members and students. If she continues this way, she will do very well in the future. And yes, up to this day, I still love autistic children. I still see them as myself. I would say if you see an autistic child, don't look at them in any particular way. Don't watch them as though they are
Mhm.
different. I think you should just get to know them, and for example, Shahira Ali that we had last week,
Last week, yeah.
yeah, I mean, did she look different? No, she looked the same, and
No, no,
and 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 I mean, she her job was well done when she was live. She spoke very well and everything. So we just had to get to know them. And they're really, really nice people.
that's right. I have certain friends that are not autistic but dyslexic, and
Okay,
I think one of the things with them, I think they see like a D from sight, is
yeah,
visual. D looks like a B, and things like that. But
right,
they function normal, they function normal. And
right,
sometimes I have some friends too that, you know, um, it's like sometimes you have to repeat things, and they may come back and ask you the same thing that you repeated like 5 minutes ago, and I'm wondering if that is autism, you know. But it's kind of challenging to come out and ask them, because they may
Yes.
not want to reveal even if they know, and sometimes they
Even
don't
if they know,
know.
yes.
So
True.
it's a bit kind of challenging, and then you will realize that, here what, I noticed that I have to have a little extra patience with this person. This person, you have to repeat things, and they will come back and ask you again, and why is he or why is she asking me the same thing we just spoke about? It's like
Yes.
that. But so you just have to have a little extra patience, I guess. That's
Yeah,
it,
yeah. It's
really.
just
But
that
they're
that is
nice
it.
people.
Yeah, that is it. Patience. Once you have patience with them and you get to know them, it's easy, you know. I mean,
I was doing some research on. Sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I was doing some research, and just as you mentioned, noise is a bit
Yeah,
stressful for them
for them,
and
yes,
puts them in a place of discomfort. Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so that is really basically it, it's not, it's not a thing that, they are different in any way, if you all hearing music, I'm sorry, it's one of my neighbors that are playing songs, so if you're hearing any music.
And I know how that can be. Been there and done that.
Yes. So my passion
So,
is
Mr. George,
children. Yes.
yeah. Which one?
Junior, I've heard from him as yet.
Yeah, so I will interject. Good evening to all the viewers. I have some internet issues, as you all know by now, right? And I hope all you're praying for me, and all you pray that something work out, so I would not be trying to take the neighbor Wi-Fi, right? So
Oh
just to
my
interject a
God.
little bit here, um, well, actually, to direct some questions to the specially invited guest, Penny Beckles-George, right? Well, from knowing you, I will say that you naturally would have some qualities within your personality that will allow you to interact very well with persons who are autistic, well, in particular children. But what I want to ask, the trainings that are available, does those will, let's say I have no idea how to deal with autistic children, but I see them, I have the passion and I love them, to the fact that I want to get into that career where I will go and deal with autistic children, or dealing with children which will include autistic children. But I want the know how. Will the training offer that know how to me, whereby I could get that type of review you got that you just read, where they will say that I am what I can't remember if word for word how he said it, but what I want to know is if there's training available, because we have so many persons that are not only autistic but they are different in other ways. And I found out recently that there are students in schools where they are just left in a corner, and it's either they eventually pick up or they don't pick up, because apparently it's either that there aren't training available, or the training is probably just there and who go and do it, or it probably isn't mandatory. I don't know how it is, but in your case, did the training add to, or did the training offer anything that could have complemented your natural personality?
Well, I can say for so far, right? Because I did childcare serval on the BETM, right? And that is where they had to send us out on different
Just before you
locations.
continue, let me
Sorry.
just cut you a little bit. I really have to. I just love how you talk about where the childcare, and I'm glad you say that, because while we're talking about autism, the Bitom is a place that is close to my heart, where I personally go. And people think nothing good come out of the Bitom. And look, you could say that there is where you left from, where you were living.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
know that wouldn't have been one taxi, that would have been more than one forms of transportation. So big up to the BTOM, Serval, and all the other institutes. And yes, I just had to interject there. I'm glad you mentioned it, but go ahead.
So I did it Serval. Now at that time I was living Princestown, so as he rightly said, it wasn't just one taxi, right? You see, once you have a passion for something, nothing, no place is too far, right? And for me, people were saying, Penny, it's too far. I don't think you should go. I said, listen, this is what I love. This is my passion. So I don't mind getting up 4 o'clock in the morning and reaching there. You understand? And
4 o'clock anyway.
yes, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
So I know that's one of the places where once you do it there, they take you to different locations, different places that have like preschools, and so I've been to a lot of preschools and a lot of places with children with disabilities, hearing impaired, and all these things. So I've got to have the experience, seeing, hearing, feeling, knowing things because I've been there. It's not just book. You're getting to actually go out there and meet the people, meet the children, right? So that is one of the places I know. I'm not sure about any other places that are available right now, right? But there's where I know, and there's where I got my experience. Yes, on the beat town, right? Um, but yeah, and I guess once you have the passion, you'll go wherever you have to go. Wherever, if it's far, if it's near, as long as it's your passion, you will go for it. And that's what I did, you know.
Exactly.
Yes.
I
Exactly.
have a
I
question.
saw
Sorry.
Isaiah was um,
Yeah.
jumped on, but apparently he has some internet issues. So go ahead,
Yeah.
Pastor Daniel Senior, please.
Yeah. So, Penny, you did say that the people who are autistic
Yeah.
tends to be very repetitive in the sense that they'll ask the same thing over and over and over, and you must have patience with them. But do you know
Yeah.
there are people who you would not consider to be autistics who just short in memory, or who
Yes.
just who are not well attentive, so to speak, So you're telling them
Hmm.
something, and before you wink, they forget, and that actually same time. I suppose our host maybe has had the same problem with me sometimes, to say the least, But the point is this, right? How do you differentiate between somebody who's showing similar characteristics or traits, and not autistic from those who are autistics?
Um, well, that's a very important question, because really and truly, there are other people that have sometimes the same symptoms, the same kind of way. But I guess, um, how to put it? I mean, yeah, we have Alzheimer's disease, we have different things that people forget, but I never really look into that. Like, all right, like how, Down syndrome children, you could look at them and you could say, okay, well, they have Down syndrome. Autistic people, you don't really get to, when I say differentiate now, so for me, I find it look normal. It's only when you see the behaviors, then you'll realize, okay, well, they are autistic, but you don't really get to see, like how, you will see a Down syndrome and know, yes, that is a Down syndrome person. You don't really get to see like that, because children who I have been with that is autistic, they look normal. They look very normal, like you and I. They don't have a different way about them in any way at all. So it's kind of hard to differentiate.
Okay.
Go ahead, Pastor Daniel.
Yeah, well, yes, I take a point because I think, well, except there is some scientific way in which you could really find out. I guess as much it will be very difficult to differentiate. I have found myself, being told something now and before long, I forget it, and sometimes I'm told that I need ginkgo. So I wanted to know, I was just wondering, I was just hoping that I don't fall into that
Then,
broad
Okay.
category of being
That
Nah,
autistic,
that
nah,
not because
nah.
you're getting young. That's not retiree syndrome.
Probably,
I
probably.
don't know because I say, but
I
like I
missed
close to
that. I
retire, I
missed that
realize
because my
sometimes I just be
internet.
forgetting.
No,
Well, I
okay,
was
let me
asking him
repeat,
if that
right?
is not because you're getting young and if that is not a retiree syndrome. Because I
Yeah, because what
realized
I was saying,
recently,
right?
like I forgetting.
Yeah, because what I was saying, right, is that sometimes you tell me something now and before you wink, I forget, and sometimes I'm told I need
Senior
ginkgo,
moments. Senior
and well, right,
moments.
yeah, and lots of it, So I was wondering if the diagnosis is wrong in terms of needing ginkgo, and it's not that I'm autistic, but thank God
Nah,
I'm.
nah, not
But
autistic.
no,
Nah.
but no, but honestly, my honest belief, you see, you are quite involved in a number of things, right?
Yeah.
And well, that's how I kind of try to give myself an excuse for me forgetting as well, right? You're so involved in so much things that sometimes it's easy to forget something because let's say, for example, at the point in time you telling me that we have to come on for 6 p.m. on Monday. If at that point in time I was in the middle of something else and my mind still kind of focus on that something else, you know, I might forget the 6 p.m. you tell me because a little again I would have been coming on 7 p.m. 7 p.m. still stick in my head, right? But I know age have a lot to do with it, but I know you
Yeah.
also are very, very active person involved in multiple things. That's why sometimes you have to
Okay,
run off on us.
I don't know.
I see somebody want to smile in the background there, but
Oh,
you
this
know,
is Shelley. God have your beats just okay. It's coming back slowly. So I don't know if they are speaking or what, but I think I'm having internet challenges. Are you hearing me, Penny?
We and you,
I'm hearing you
we
loud and
and you.
clear.
Okay, did I drop off for a while?
You're
No,
right here.
right here.
Because I wasn't
You
seeing
froze a little
anyone
bit, but you're right here still.
for about a minute.
Okay, so the main host getting some challenges as you all could see. We see you know still, we here now in between. But
Okay,
you know,
so
in the
if whether
meantime,
y'all
we will.
see me or not, please continue the conversation because I'm being cut off a lot of times.
Yeah, we see and we hear you, but in the meantime, we will continue because I guess it's a bunch of hosts here, so we might all interview each other, right? So what I will say or I will ask to the main
You're
guest.
sounding
Well, today
robotic to
she's our
me,
guest,
but
right? All right. Well,
is
we'll
anyone
pray
hearing
that
me?
all of us get good internet as well. We
Is
hear
anyone
you.
hearing me?
We're
We
hearing
hear
you.
you.
We're hearing
Okay,
you.
I'm just sharing. If whether I'm here or I get cut off, please continue the conversation because most of the times I'm not hearing
Yes.
what you're saying and I'm not even seeing anyone.
Yeah,
Yeah?
we
My,
continue.
okay.
Don't worry. You're safe. You're safe.
All right.
Right. So
Thank you.
for persons who are into the education system and they just might say, well, you know what, this is not part of my job description. This isn't something I was trained for, right? And I'm not just asking this to Penny alone. I'm also asking this to Daniel George Senior, right? So for those of you who don't know, that's my father, there, Daniel George Senior, and I'm asking this open to both of you. Um, do you think that a teacher now should consider, at least for their own sake, and let's forget about the fact, let's forget about the need of the child just for a moment and think for their own sake. Do you think a teacher should consider advancing themselves or extending their education and learning about how to deal with different children? Or should they just say, well, you know what? I didn't train for that. I come to school to teach maths. I am a maths teacher. I am not no special care teacher. I am not a teacher who was trained for autism or any other diagnosis. What will you all suggest to them?
Well, I suggest that
I mean,
I suggest
you know,
they should go and learn, about it, because in the normal school system, children who are autistic or Down syndrome or things like that, who would probably be in a normal school. For instance, I know of a school right now that has a child who makes a lot of noise in class, and the children, most of the children in the class, they are, they're not autistic or Down syndrome, right? And so because of the noise, sometimes they would scream, or sometimes the child will, bang the chairs and all that. And it's like the other children don't understand, okay, this is somebody, who just a little, different from them, but same. And they just can't take the noise and stuff in the class. So everybody confused. Now, I wouldn't say to put the child outside because they're making noise, but there are so many different things they could do with the child different, and the child could be in the same class with everyone. So sometimes they like puzzles, they like things with colors, so you find ways, different ways in which you could keep them, busy, so that they wouldn't be making the noise. Or probably the school could make some kind of room or something nice, attractive for them within the class settings or something, and kind of educate the children too, because it have children who don't know their peers are autistic, or have a disability in some way. They don't know, and they may laugh at them, or may scorn them. So I really think that they should go out and learn about these things, and also that children in within the class could learn these things, so that they could watch their peers and play with them, still find ways and where they could all interact with each other, rather than just having a child in the class that's totally, you know, away from the other children, banging chairs and stuff, and then the others just looking at them as, differently. So yeah, I think they should.
Okay,
And
well,
so,
welcome, Isaiah. Welcome.
Hi,
Good
good day, good
evening,
day. You all good, me, right?
Isaiah. Are you hearing me? Yeah, we're
You're
hearing you.
saying all
I'm
and
hearing
clear.
you. I don't know if the others are hearing you.
yes, good evening,
Okay.
Isaiah. I am hearing you as well.
Hi, good evening to
hi,
everyone,
hi,
right?
sir.
Good evening to you, Daniel.
Good
Evening,
afternoon, good
welcome,
evening.
welcome.
Yes,
Okay, good. Nice having
that's
you.
actually going on well. Here.
Before we go further, there's a question. What's the difference between autism and Down syndrome? I'm trying to put it on the screen, but it's not staying. Can anyone answer that question, please?
I honestly wouldn't be able to answer the difference between autism and Down syndrome, even though I understand the difference, right? Because it's something that I didn't know, and learning from Shahira, I get to realize first that there is actually a difference, and then I get to understand. But I really don't know how to explain it. I wish we had, um, well, I don't know if Penny or Isaiah or Daniel Senior could explain it, but I wish we had Shahira here because I think she is more knowledgeable in this case. I don't know if anybody else want to challenge, take up on the challenge with this
No,
question.
mommy cannot make it now. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
What is the
Any
difference?
Penny or Isaiah?
Well, as far as I know about Down syndrome, they look a little different. I mean, you could see it in their face. You don't have to you don't have to guess. Their face looks a little different. Um, I know they have some chromosome or something like that different from us, but I really not too sure much of what is the difference, to be honest. I mean, I did know it, but it's so many things to learn that not everything stayed with the Down syndrome for me. But if you look at them, you could tell, okay, this is a Down syndrome child. Mainly, you might be able to tell it's an autistic child, but Down syndrome, yes.
Okay, let me try to explain as best as possible. Um, those with autism may face difficulties in understanding social cues and communicating in social situations. That's autism. And Down syndrome are those with mild to moderate Down syndrome. They understand social cues and participate in social communication much more easily. Um,
Bring the
it's like about 15 to 20% of persons with Down syndrome, they are also autistic. Yeah. But Down syndrome is known to overshadow the autism. I guess because of the physical features that, you actually see it. You can look at someone and know that they have Down syndrome, as well as you can look at someone and you wouldn't be aware that they are autistic. Isaiah, let's give Isaiah a chance to give his contribution, please, as you just arrived, and we're happy to have you. And we don't want to have any challenges, and then you we haven't heard from you. So introduce yourself to the listeners.
See if you're muted, Isaiah. See if your
Okay,
mic
so
is
I
on
guess
mute.
he's having challenges again.
We are seeing you. We seeing you good, but I don't know if your mic on mute.
I am seeing him, it's circling in his box again.
I see him clear on my end.
Okay, I'm not seeing him okay, he's back. Go ahead, please, Isaiah.
Your mic is muted,
Down
Isaiah.
syndrome and not is
We
muted.
hearing you now. No,
We
we
hear you
hearing you
now.
now.
Okay. So the difference between autism and Down syndrome on my terms. Autism is a challenge within is actually it's slight physical challenge and mind challenge as well. To tell somebody who has Down syndrome, it's not only because of the look, it's because the motor skills is challenged and all that. So I find that for the past few years, a lot of people have been getting a little bit mixed up between Down syndrome and autism. Now, if you're a full-blown autistic person, it will be like certain things that normal people will do. You will have a challenge on it. Certain like, okay, if you cooking food and there's actually everything in one pot, an autistic person will try to separate that, or he will not even eat the food. That would be a challenge because I have known somebody whose son is autistic and he is very, very picky about what he does eat, very picky of what he does drink. And I actually had that when I was younger. And it came about a point where that same person's family also has Down syndrome. And if you put the actual autistic child and the Down syndrome in the same room, both of them, their behavior is like they interact like a
Can I have
normal
some?
human being. And I was shocked because despite all odds, they could be able to communicate, they could interact, they could mingle and everything. So if society have the understanding and the proper knowledge, it should be a vast, huge difference right there. All right, and that's my take on it for my point of view.
Okay, great. Can you tell us something about yourself, please?
Yes,
What you
I am
do?
a 30-year-old artist. Um, sorry, again.
Yeah, you go ahead,
Big
Isaiah.
up,
You
Miss
go ahead.
Mr. Code. Somebody was saying. Okay, so I'm doing artwork for the past 17 years and I've done a lot of artwork, airbrush, pencil drawing, and lately in 2019 December I actually found out that I was autistic. But apparently everybody used to be taking me for like a psychopath or a madman or something like that. And the blessing and the curse was the TV interview I had recently. So a lot of people who saw that. It have some people who came and apologized for saying the wrong things about me. I for myself is not a selfish person, but I cannot put myself first. I had to put everybody first who understand. Look, Daniel, for instance, and Penny, right? There was, I can't tell from my point of view how they know or how they felt when they hear the interview, but you know, an autistic person like me has a very serious challenge ahead, and within past the boundaries, according to the spectrum. My spectrum was there is, you know, I would not be in a room where a lot of people and it come like a extrovert, introvert kind of person. And I was more in the introvert side. So I never used to be mingling crowd because I feel like I'll be attacked for no reason or something like that. And this is where when I was in secondary school, I used to be dropping out of my class and go to our next person's class, our next teacher's class. And there was my comfort zone to actually just do a lot of drawings. So if I dwell in my own comfort zone, I'll be all right. According to my father, I cannot live in a bubble. I don't know if anybody has ever tell you that they cannot live in a bubble in this world. I used to be told, it used to be dawned on me ever since I know you know. Oh, so the other guy when he was younger, what
Okay.
changed for him? He became more, he became more cool and calm. And at the time I met him, he was like around 6 or 7. He's about 8 or 9 now, and yeah, he became more stern because if a normal child, you go in a store and you see the actual guy or any other children, they will run around, start to play around, or anything like that. If he goes in that same place, he will just stand up there, hands behind his back, and just watch around. That is where the motor skill came in, and I used to have that as well. I used to have that as well. And what is the
Okay,
spectrum
there's
and
another.
how many
Right.
does it have? Hmm. I researched there's only about to my um to my gathering is about 20. So It should be
Wow.
more. And I don't know how many, I'm still researching. But my own is mild, autistic spectrum disorder. And that is something that nobody has not known. Nobody. I believe my friend's son has that as well, right? And well, let's just say that, if he's around me, both of us will be like the same level, right? And what else is supposed to be? Um, autistic spectrum disorder. I have in mild, and that was the definition of me doing a lot of artwork at that very short bit of time. And if I could actually show my entire collection, I mean, changes into a like us. Your amount of artwork is insane, right? And I did not even know that until I was about, let's say, 23 or 24, around there. No, sorry, 26 or 27. I know that I was actually diagnosed with autistic spectrum disorder. And according to my parents, that made me the kind of person I am because it boosted my artistic capabilities, my photogenic memory, and you have what they call motor definition skill. What happened is, if I can remember exactly how I rest a cup on the table, and if somebody move it, I could literally remember that. And I kind of have a capability of that. It's like a superpower, you could say, right?
I just want to interject a bit here. Isaiah, what I admire about knowing you, because I have known you since you were a very little child, right? We grew up in the same community, and what I admire is the fact that you saying that you didn't know, and which mean you see for yourself that you were like normal in spite of your differences, right? We all have our differences in personality, but you are a normal person who could have done normal things and even better in some cases. I can't even begin to draw like you. I remember when we went to the sip and paint in Capiville, you just look at the what
Yes.
do you call it, the templates or the canvas with what they had
All this fun.
original, and you were able to just do it. And he said he wasn't accustomed to the painting, right? He more into the drawing, and still he did it like if he was doing it every day, right? So it shows here you are a good example that
That was the very, very,
persons
very
could
first time
be,
I do that.
yeah. So you are a good example that persons being autistic doesn't mean that they can't be a normal person and can't do normal things, right? And could even do it better in some cases. So I want to make mention of something. Before you knew that you were autistic, right? Because I heard your live stream. Actually, I was surprised when you mentioned it on the live stream that you found out you was autistic at this age. But I know prior to that you were teaching at Nalis in Point Fortin, right? So imagine you having art
Yes.
exhibitions and people coming to learn from you, and you and all didn't even know that you're autistic. So it didn't limit you in any way. It didn't hold you back, right? So I just wanted to
That
point that
wasn't a
out.
yes, it was not threshold. I agree with you. Uh-huh. Oh, and I
Repeated.
want to actually ask in general, I want to literally have another one this year because for the past 2 years with the COVID, it kind of like did slow down, but I want to bring it back this year. So looking at a bigger venue, and instead of 3 weeks, we'll have it 4 weeks. So
Right.
if there's anything, I want to, discuss it further, come like, volunteering and sponsorship as whatnot.
Right. Permit me to ask this question. So,
Okay.
well,
Pastor Daniel Senior, I see you wanna yeah, I see you wanna say something.
Yes.
yeah, right. Yeah, what I was saying right now, seeing that you would have lived most of your life with the perception, with the belief too that you are normal like anybody else, only to find out that you are autistic. Did that psychologically impacted you negatively in terms of bringing you to that point where you no longer feel normal, but you're feeling subnormal or abnormal? What kind of impact the knowledge of that had upon your psyche?
It was really like if it was like, like if the world was going to end, because how could I be diagnosed for one thing and then a expert doctor tell me of something else? Because I was wrongfully diagnosed. I was three, and every single person who interacted with me, they did not know. They did not even know what is autistic spectrum at that time. And it's a doctor from Senegal. Yes, a doctor from Senegal in 2019. He actually asked me questions like how we are discussing, and he could tell off the bat that I was actually, mildly autistic, because he actually exploited that field for over 50 years. And that is where, like, I get a gut feeling that, maybe there's something really wrong, or if people will understand. But thank goodness, I had a TV interview recently, and that was the the exclamation point right there. And I would love to proudly say, hey, I'm not I'm not abnormal, I am just normal, right? And I want everybody to stop stigmatizing against people who have both Down syndrome and autistic, because as you may notice, everybody's the same.
I
We are the
agree.
same. We are the same build. We are the same this. We are the same that. We are no different than nobody else. You know. And I just wish there would be more and more awareness. Right? I wish there would be more awareness as well. Not only from
Awareness
myself,
and
but others as well
inclusion.
too.
Awareness and inclusion.
Yes, I agree with you.
Okay, I agree. It's just a matter of being differently abled, so to speak, yeah?
Yes.
Because some things that we who consider ourselves normal cannot do, the persons with Down syndrome or autism can do much more better. Their IQs are higher than ours and things like that. So we need not look down at anyone. We are all God's creation. We are not all God's children, but we are all God's creation. And I think we should learn to love each other more. And God is love, so we express that love, that agape love to each and everyone,
I like what you're saying.
whether
We
they
should
are
not. I like what you
go
say, that
ahead.
we should not look down at anyone. And when I see somebody could do something better than me, I look up to them. I am much older than Isaiah, and I look up to him, right? Because in his
Yes.
style of
Yes.
art, Isaiah will actually watch you and will take a very short while and draw you exact as you are. That is somebody to look up to, right? And also, beside just his ability with art, he is a positive young person, right? Very positive person. I look up to him for many different reasons beside art.
Isaiah, are you going to show us at
Right. I
least
agree
one or
with you,
two of your
Daniel.
drawings? Are you going
Oh
to
yeah,
show
of
us one or
course.
two of your drawings?
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to know if it's could flip. This camera could flip or anything like that. Well, since I use
If what?
a mobile phone,
I'm not sure if you might
no,
have
well,
the
to flip the camera.
option, but I think I saw that option on a similar platform. I don't know if StreamYard have that option as well to flip the camera. Normally it would have been in the settings, camera settings.
Okay, settings.
In settings, it have camera settings, and I believe with the phone you should have that option for the back camera.
All right,
I'm not sure.
right.
I don't think
I wouldn't get that setting on this laptop.
All right,
This
so
laptop only have the front. So in,
okay, I feel I have option here.
so in the meantime, I wanna ask Penny again, right? Although I see Penny is kind of multitasking, right? But I will still ask in the meanwhile. Um, Penny, there are parents who would have probably been a parent for the first time or had children before that were not autistic, and then they make a child that is autistic, and some of them would feel uncomfortable, they may feel shame, they or even those who are not shamed, they're just confused because they don't know what to do, they feel frustrated. What would you say to these parents?
well, right now I know someone who in that similar fate, and I just, I mean, just encourage them, just let them know that, hey, it's a normal child you have.
Is there
That
help out
child,
there for them?
Okay,
I,
not
uh-huh.
not wanting to cut you, not wanting to cut you, please. Um, just remember your last word, because I know he's probably holding the phone, trying to show us these drawings here. So it
Yes, and
looks
I think you
really,
should put him
really
up on the
authentic.
screen. I think you should open his screen and they could solo his screen.
I am trying to, yes,
Nice.
right. So these are some of this is one of the drawings that Isaiah James Thomas has done.
You want to tell us
And
about
he,
this one, Isaiah? What inspired you and when this was done?
Yes, because I was figuring out where I was collecting, them remote control toys, Hot Wheels, and I'm more into cars, than actual people. So I decided to actually just draw this car, right? And since I have the remote control version of this, I decided to do the drawing as well. So when I display the model of this, it will be displayed with the toy. So it come like you're seeing two in one,
You have the
okay,
toy with you there as well right now?
right? The
Do you have the toy
the
car with
actual
you
toy car.
right now? Anywhere close or it far to
yes.
reach?
All right, just hold on a second. Hold on. I don't think it's too far away from me.
Okay, so we just holding on for Isaiah to grab the
Yeah,
original, so we will see how accurate his toy car and his drawing
Yeah.
is,
So
right? I've seen a
I
lot of
just
identical
change
yeah,
drawings.
until
that one like it just not around here. So I will show you another
But
one
that is
that I
okay.
did,
That is okay.
and this time I have it right. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see it, please. In the meantime, we've got another
Mm-hmm.
question. It says, "What is what medically explains the cause of a baby being born with autism?"
I have I have no general idea though, but about medical, capabilities or something like that. Hold on. I have the toy here. Hold on. Yeah, just bear with me, right? Okay. This one here. So if you ever hear me now, right?
Loud and clear.
All right.
Well, I'm seeing that you
That's
well get the
lovely.
details.
That's lovely.
Yeah, I've seen that you well get the details in your drawing.
Awesome.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That looks very good. And my favorite model of car.
All right.
My favorite model, Audi.
Is that a Lamborghini?
All right. I
That's
have
an
Lamborghinis
Audi.
and Ferraris. Yeah. This is all.
Okay, I'm taking you off of solo now.
All right.
Is that something else you're showing us?
Yes. This is when I was This is when the same time around 2019 I was going through my diagnosis and I was doing this while I was there.
Wow, it's so detailed.
Yeah, even though you're getting the details around, let's see, the trees and things.
The water and all of that. Yep, very good. So let's answer Mrs. Roberts Abraham's question, and let's try to round up for tonight because it's 1 minute to 12 my time. And the question is, what medically explains the cause of a baby being born autistic? And here I've got studies have shown that abnormalities in pregnant women are a significant potential risk factor for autism in offspring, and that sex hormones may be part of the cause of autism. Yeah. So it's as we go on now. This is the second week, so it's coming more in depth now, where we actually need to be speaking with a qualified nurse or so in that field of autism to answer these questions, these medical questions
Yes, and
that
we have persons
that are
lined
being
up for we have persons lined up for the rest of the month. So each week,
for
we will
part three
take
and
a
part four.
different
Yes,
aspect. We had a nice introduction by Shahira last week, and
yes,
we have Isaiah showing that in spite of being autistic, with Ian all not even knowing he was autistic, he is a very excellent person. We also have Penny here tonight who has worked with autistic children. And, as we go through the rest of the month, we will go into the more in-depth part of it, whereby the professionals will be able to
detail. Yeah,
explain more to us, right? So each week will be more like from a different angle, covering it and taking each angle through the
that's right.
entire hour, whereby you could get the best of the specially invited guests, right? And Isaiah, I on this note,
All
I
right.
still will like to have you back on with us even after the Autism
Yes.
Awareness Month. I hope that you'll be back on with us, and Penny as well.
So thank you guys very much. Where's Pastor Daniel? Oh, Isaiah is the one that dropped off. So Pastor Daniel, can you give us a round us up before we close off? Do you want to say anything um scriptural to add to closing of the program, please?
Well, it is important for our listening audience to recognize that when God made man, he made him in his own image and likeness. And while sin had tarnished that image that God created man it doesn't diminish from the importance of every single person on the face of the earth. As a matter of fact, we are told that God loved the world, and that means he loves everybody. And therefore, we must not discriminate or treat anybody indifferently, as it were, notwithstanding their circumstance may be different from ours. You know, we still need to recognize that every single person on the earth matter. And while some may be disadvantaged, we who have the, or should I say, the opportunities that they do not have, we must, we must show care, we must show compassion, we must show love, and show a disposition to do whatever is possible within our ability to help them so that we can contribute towards making their life better. And that goes as well for teachers who more often than not will, come in contact with people who are autistic.
Very well. And I like at this point, I want to thank the listeners, the viewers for coming on. If you're here for the first time, don't let it be your last time. You are welcome. You are most welcome to come again. And please share the broadcast. So, there's someone who would love to hear this. So you can share the information. I like to say, let's not be selfish about what is being imparted here tonight. And we can share it so others can also get some knowledge on the topics that we bring. We do bring genuine um life topics, things that affects us daily in the walk of life, and we um align everything with scriptures, so to speak, bring everything with the word of God. And so please like, comment, share, subscribe to our channel, help us to grow this channel so we can, spread God's word even further. And we thank you for coming on again. So any last word from you, Mrs. George, please?
Yes, good night again. I would like to say, as we say, autism awareness is a good thing to look into. We shouldn't discriminate at all. I would say for me, thank God that I wasn't a person to discriminate, because now I have my child, well, our child, she has seizures, very bad seizures. And, I mean, that is something, that's a topic by itself. But what I'm saying is, I looked at everybody normal, and I thank God that God has given me the grace to be able to deal with my child as well. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know what we will have. We don't know where we would be, so we should just love each other, conditionally, unconditionally, and just be normal with everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And Isaiah sent a private request responding to him. Isaiah, thank you for coming on. Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Daniel George Jr. Thank you, Daniel George Sr. And we'll have a little chat behind the scene as always. So thank you very much again, listeners, and we look forward to seeing you for part 3, which is next Monday, God's willing, God's Spare Life, and we will be going in depth. This month we are focusing on just what this month is about, the awareness, autism awareness. So we are not going to be shifting from the topic until the end of May. Sorry. the end of April. So
Uh,
that's our topic for the other Mondays in this month also. So thank you all. Thank you very much. Have a blessed night, well, morning on my side. Having some challenges here. I come on.
mhm.
Okay.